Alrighty, Jase.
How you
Pleasure
okay?
to have you. Thanks for
Thanks,
coming
mate.
and chat with me.
It's alright.
For those who are watching, this is a good friend of mine, Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
28. Are you 29
29 now, yeah.
29 now. Catching me, brother.
Yeah.
I got 6 months left till the 30. Let's go.
It's 20 something still,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
So Jason Taylor is from Sydney.
Country New South Wales, I would
Country
say.
New South Wales. Oh, yeah, true.
So,
yeah. From
country
Bonnie, where are you from? Port
I'd say
Macquarie.
Port Macquarie, yeah.
Yeah, that's home for you.
Yeah, country born, so
Yeah,
country
epic.
born and raised.
Yeah, nice.
Um,
And we are currently in Francavilla El Mar in Italy.
Pescara, Italy, yeah.
Pescara, playing a challenger.
Yeah.
Both of us here. It's nice to have a few Aussies.
Yeah, there's been a few Aussies around, so it's been
And
nice.
it's been both had a tough loss first round this week. So and Jase has kindly taken my sore neck off me, and now he's struggling.
So now I can't move my neck. No.
Yeah, hectic. Yeah, bro. So mostly I'm gonna just talk to you. But first question I thought for a comic, for the comic strip, best of 5 sets.
Yeah.
3 surfaces, card,
Okay.
grass, clay.
Yeah.
You versus Adam. Are you backing yourself for a win? Singles. I'm talking best of 5. Fitness comes in.
Wait,
Okay, so you play best of 5 hard.
Okay.
You play best of 5 grass, and
Yeah.
you play best of 5 clay.
Okay, I've got him on the clay.
You got him on the clay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about the grass. Fuck, it's a battle. I think I've got him in 5 in every match actually.
You reckon you got him in 5
he
just
does-
out of the leagues?
Have
You
you
hear
seen
that, Adsy?
have you seen my genetics?
I've seen your genetics, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny I asked you yesterday.
Yeah.
Does Adam go to the gym as much as you? Because
Yeah.
I know he does it. Like he works hard.
Yeah.
But you definitely got the
Definitely
bit more
got
of a lottery in the gene pool.
Yeah, I got the good lorries. Got the good
Got the rig.
genes, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
I work hard. I did work hard as a young kid, so it's probably a bit to do with that.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Yeah.
So chronologically, how did you get into tennis? Originally.
So tennis runs in the family. Dad started playing tennis when he was pretty young, and then Dad became a tennis coach.
Yeah.
And then
Where did your dad grow up?
Dad grew up in Sydney, and
Yeah.
then moved to the country New South Wales, and decided to take up tennis coaching in a small country town.
Yeah, epic.
So we
Cool.
had Dad ran a complex of 6 courts with probably like maybe 50 to 60 junior members. So quite a big little kind of community. We used to play comps on Friday. We used to play little JDSs, or as we used to know it, McDonald's events back in the day. And then as 3 boys growing up in the family, we had always had a tennis court in the backyard. So pretty much kind of just.
Oh, you had a tennis court at your house.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and we always used to play the slams.
What surface?
We used to have synthetic grass in the backyard,
nice.
but we always used to play like the US Open, and then 5 minutes later we'd be at Wimbledon, and then 5 minutes later we'd be at the French, and then 5 minutes later we'd be the Aussie. Like,
love it. And did Matt play? Your older
yeah,
brother?
Matt played a fair bit. He played until he was about 16, 17, and then decided to play a little bit of baseball, and then came back to tennis, but ended up, he's doing a fair bit of coaching, and then kind of always has tennis in his life, like wherever he's around, he always has a hit, but never kind of went professional. So but we kind of had that I don't know, I had a different drive, I guess. Being the youngest, I had that drive to kind of go professional.
As a 10-year-old, you were thinking, I want to be a tennis player?
I mean, probably
12?
not the 10-year-old, no. I mean, I got to 16, 17, 18, finished school, like went through the proper system in regards to not finishing school at 16. I went through kind of high school, finished all that. And then at 18, kind of wanted to see kind of how it would go. Really like finishing off studies, but kind of thought, why not give it a try.
What school did you go to?
I went to MacKillop Senior College, Catholic school, but kind of we had a good tennis team. We won like New South Wales Catholic Colleges, which is like the whole combined schooling in New South Wales, and kind of played for Pizzy Cup and did all this, but never like, as a junior I was never like the cream of the crop, like never kind of never played at that tip of the iceberg, but just kind of stuck with it, I guess.
And through high school, was most of your training hitting with Adam and your dad coaching you?
Most of the training was hitting with Adam. A name from the past, like Matthew Turns. I don't know whether you remember him, but
no, I don't think so.
We used to train with him a fair bit. He went to the same school, and then pretty much we just do a bit of training after school, play some night comps, but there wasn't a lot of like, I would say like academy approach to training. It was kind of just ad lib and kind of when
play
we
night
could.
comps with other men.
Play night comps with all the oldies. Play night comps.
Yeah, I
with,
used to do that in the Easter egg. Play like at 14, play the Wednesday night.
Yeah, I always used to play like Wednesday, and then Dad used to have he used to have like 6 old guys that he always used to play against every Wednesday. And I always used to really want to play and never was allowed to.
Why? Because you weren't good enough yet?
No, because I was too young. I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And I'd come back from having a hit on the court and I'd fucking throw my racket at the wall.
Yeah.
Because I was so pissed that they were then carrying on with their set.
Yeah.
Mate, I was like so annoyed. And then as we got older, they were like, "Oh, when are you coming to join us to play?" They were like asking us to join us, kind of thing, and that was really fun. And like learned a lot from kind of playing with the oldies at doubles. Like kind of, I was always the jack and the rabbit.
Yeah.
Sorry, the rabbit in the hat. Kind of like always jumping around, the jackrabbit like on the court, and they were like, "Just stay still."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I will." Nah, didn't stay still.
Yeah. You've never drank coffee, like.
I have drank coffee when I was like a little bit younger, but I cannot drink it because it makes me too kind of jittery and I get like nervous kind of thing.
Because you just got some people just got that natural energy, a little energizer bunny.
Yeah, exactly. And I used to when I used to play football, I used to be called Kelpie.
Really?
No one could tell me.
What type of football?
Like soccer.
Yeah, true.
So I used to play soccer when I was like between 10 and 15, 16. I used to play soccer like every weekend.
Yeah. You reckon that was good for your tennis?
Yeah, I think like that. I always tell my students to play different sports. Basketball I played when I was younger, from 10 till 15, and then soccer I played from 10 till 15, and that's why I guess I'm a little bit more athletic around the court.
Yeah.
Adam
play?
Adam didn't play any of it. So it kind of does translate to how the athletic body kind of does translate. It, like obviously Adam's very talented, hits the ball quite clean, but doesn't have that kind of athletic kind of base. I would say that's come from playing football, playing basketball, playing all these different sports to kind of build that base up and then kind of go from there. Like
it's funny. I stopped playing. I played like soccer, rugby, all these, swimming, but speaking of the footwork sports, soccer, rugby, I stopped really young, and I had bad footwork. Footwork's never been a strength of mine.
Right.
And I was probably in hindsight, it probably helped a lot.
Like I'm telling all my the kids that I was coaching over the COVID break.
Yeah.
I was telling them, they were like, "Oh, what should we do?" And I was like, "Get them into different sports. Don't just get them focused on tennis.
Yeah.
Get them playing basketball. Get them playing football. Get them playing all these different sports to kind of have that variety." So that's kind of that's what I did, and that's how I built a good athletic base. I think the athletic base is important, and then kind of the tennis will come. Like that's built.
Yeah.
I think.
Especially nowadays, you have to be such a good athlete to be a tennis player.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I mean, you look at Alcaraz, look at his kind of athletic abilities, and
scary.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know whether he did much other. I presume he played football as a Spanish kind of player, so that's kind of big in these kind of conditions.
Yeah, it's massive, and also just that because tennis is so individual. When we're young, we can get like. I feel I was talking to Phil about this yesterday. You can get it's nice to play in a team atmosphere because I don't know how you felt like through junior tournaments, but I just feel almost so now we can be as competitive as possible on court, and you're able to separate it pretty quickly to be friendly off court.
Yeah, I guess
when I was a junior, it wasn't as easy. I felt you felt a bit more tension towards other people.
Yeah, there was only like a few, like you'd travel away with maybe like 4 or 5 people, and I remember like traveling away to like Lismore, and you'd have like the Queenslander group, and you wouldn't actually associate with them at all, and you'd think they're absolute rednecks and shit like this, and then you get to know a Queenslander, and you're like, oh yeah, he's alright, eh? Like, I think there was an academy called Pro One.
Yeah, I remember it. I used to train there.
And so
it was on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and so I remember like all these kind of not the hooligans, but fucking they were a bit they were a bit crazy out there at Pro One. Like and then you used to travel to these Lismore tournaments or like Ballina and these kind of places, and these guys are all there, and we're like, oh nah, don't associate with these guys. And then like once you get on tour, you kind of just associate with any Aussie. Like doesn't matter who you are, you kind of just like associate with him. You go out for dinner and stuff, and you realize that we're all going at the same rate. We're all kind of chasing the same kind of dream kind of thing. Yeah, I guess most of us are.
It's a nice feeling when you actually feel that. When you feel it. As the older I've got, the more I've felt just compassion and just felt friendly towards not only Australian players but any players. I realise there's so many players in the world you got to compete against. You're all trying to do the same thing. So if we could, like that WhatsApp group,
why make it hard for us?
Yeah, if we can, we can. Jase Jase and I contributed to coming up with some idea to for anyone listening to have this WhatsApp group with all the Australian players that are playing at the just coming into challenger and future level.
Yep.
And remember that we're all trying to chase the same thing. You can help each other a lot because if you want to be good, there's a lot of people compete against, so it's actually super beneficial, even if you're going to look at it from a selfish part. To have people
have different people to hit with, different kind of contacts. There's always someone to talk to. Always kind of the advice from us kind of guys that have probably been on tour for a little bit longer than some of the younger guys. And done a lot more. Like we've been traveling for I've been traveling since I was 19. So not as long as some other people. Like other people have been doing the junior kind of career.
Yeah, I never travelled
a lot longer neither. Yeah, so I didn't even play a junior tournament. A junior ITF event.
Yeah, I played only the Queensland ones. That's it.
Yeah, so I never played a junior ITF event. Since 19, I've been kind of traveling by myself or with my brother, and kind of organising everything, doing all that kind of jazz.
Yeah. So in hindsight, if you were coaching a kid that's good and that's 12. Yeah. Or let's say not 12, let's say 14, 15. Yeah. And the parents asking you, the parents asking you what tournament route they should take. Would you encourage them? Would you encourage them to play junior ITFs and to chase a junior ITF ranking?
I had a chat with the family not only a week ago, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't really think there was much point in chasing an ITF career. I think there are lessons to be learned. I didn't actually do it, so I can't comment on what that pool of players did and have learnt. But I have recognised a fair amount of burnout in those type of players. Yeah. So I think there is benefit to that junior career, but whether it's at a massive benefit or a detriment, I don't think it's really massive. I think that to go down the pathway of playing a lot of events, playing at UTR events, just playing a lot of matches, I think that's key. Doesn't have to be overseas. It can be in your own backyard. You can be competing against anyone and still be competitive. I think that's important, but not necessarily chasing a lot of ITF events or junior events. I think that's where a lot of money is probably burnt. Yeah. Because they're trying to chase these events. It's very expensive to travel, as we know. And these junior events are quite expensive to get to in these kind of places. So I think if you've got the money, maybe kind of keep it in the account until you can then... Because, I mean, let's look at it. If you're going to look at it like this, what's important in a junior career or a senior career? You'd much prefer to have a long, elongated senior career rather than junior career, in my opinion. So, yeah, keep that in the bank and keep that kind of stocked up until you can then put it into a career of senior, I think, in my opinion. And kind of, you got to learn those basics and that kind of stuff and travel as a junior. Yeah.
But as you say, you've been traveling for 10 years. Why make it 15? Start traveling for 15. Yeah. And I think it's awesome. I think it's a fine line. I think it's awesome to actually go to school normally and to finish school normally because you got your whole life to not. Yes. So kids, I understand the hustle when you're feeling urgent. You want to be good and if kids are 14 and their other kids start homeschooling, they go to a national academy and they're progressing. Yeah. But at that time, you don't realise that how much of a marathon it is. It is it's a marathon. So if you can, as long as you can the longer you can normalise life, I feel is beneficial. Yeah. From my understanding, or just from my learning and observing of people that have gone down the junior path, I always grapple with this because I have had a few kids or parents ask me about that. I feel like the one benefit to it, if you're really good, you can get sponsor money early. Sure. If you can be going deep in junior slams.
If you're inside top 100, I think you can get some good benefits. I think Max got some good benefits from going well in a Grand Slam initially. SL. Yeah. And then kind of he got some good sponsors in that sense. Yeah. But I don't know, there's not really much point in hovering between 150 and 600 and hustling a lot. I think, if you can get inside top 100 with relative ease, I think then it's important to then maybe, and then you're going to get more help from the associations, I guess. Yeah. But initially, I think it's kind of play those events in Australia if they're at a financial benefit, and if it's not really a detriment. So I think definitely play those events, but look to learn a lot in the meantime. I think that's important.
I'm always just encouraging hugely for people, for juniors to just care less about ranking, and junior parents.
Yeah.
Because even no matter how good or bad they are on a world scale, I noticed the overkill of just parents worrying about and now UTR's even worse, man. Because now parents
are pulling people out of matches. This kind of stuff.
Right. They're obsessed with the UTR, and they just live in. And they can be you can look at it like for me on a Sunshine Coast level, even just a small 100-kilometer coastline, and that's the small pond, and they're just trying to be big fish in that pond.
Yes.
And not realizing, and even if it's Queensland, even if it's Australia, not realizing again how much of a marathon it is and how many people you have to compete against.
Yes.
And how unnecessary it is to care so much about
a ranking or a number.
Yeah,
I think that's very important. A lot of my clients have asked me like, oh, we're struggling with our UTRs and this kind of stuff, and I say like, do you want them performing now at 12, or do you want to build a game that can build until they're 16, 17, 18?
Yeah. And
they're like, oh, I'd like to them perform now, but yeah, obviously that's most important to probably enjoy the period now from 10 to 16, and then get competitive. And doesn't necessarily mean you're not competitive when you're enjoying it, but it just means you're not looking at a point system or a ranking system or a UTR system in depth. Obviously, you've got to have goals, you've got to have aspirations to improve your certain ranking, but I think that shouldn't be kind of the be all and end all of a junior career. Yeah.
Okay, so what about you right now? So for us, we have to be aware of what points are defending and whatnot to be able to navigate and comprise the best schedule possible, because we want to be smart when when we want to play up, when we you look at somebody like Jordan Thompson. I've always noticed how awesome he is he's careful with his schedule, it seems, but he's somebody like Max or Geordie that are between Charlie's to tour level, or like pretty much tour level, but when they got to play down to and defend points, but how for you, how much do you think? How much do you think about that? How much are you aware of what points are coming off, and how much do you think that actually helps you or doesn't help you?
Yeah, I think obviously,
there's
always, and I've chatted to a lot of psychologists about that kind of that ability to not think about result orientation. I think that's big, and be task orientated, like when you're on a court, for instance, because I don't think it's very when you're in a match, you're not going to be wanting to think about your result based. I think that's
you don't need extra pressure.
No, and you don't need the basis of if you're trying to win, how much money am I getting, what position am I going to go to, that's all noise that kind of can be dulled out if you're just kind of focusing on the small things that you can do, right?
So you said task based.
Yeah.
So describe what type of things are you trying to point your attention towards if you're feeling if you're feeling pressure with ranking, maybe defending.
Yeah, for instance, I know you're both a big fan of this. Obviously, being a little bit grateful, gratitudinal practice, kind of writing down what you're grateful for, because I think this is massive. Because we're always looking to improve and looking to get little things and kind of to get better in a sense of a ranking. Yeah. But I look at myself, how many years ago? 4 or 5 years ago. And I look at what I was back then. I was 400, 500 ranked. Obviously, you got to be grateful for where you are at that point in time. Yeah. And kind of recognizing that and being kind of an understanding. Okay, you're improving. Yeah. And seeing that, kind of being grateful, a gratitude practice. I think that's quite important. And then obviously, when you are thinking about those kind of results based, I think it's important to kind of have that. It's going to be there because you can't actually quiet that stuff down. It's quite tough to quieten down those results because it's always going to be there. There's always going to be, you're going to be dropping, you're going to be losing money, you're going to be dropping points, you're going to have to defend. There's always going to be that pressure to succeed, I think. But it's about being, acknowledging that it's there, but not necessarily trying to rub it out. It's going to be there. I think it's always going to be there no matter what age you are. There's always going to be that pressure to perform or the pressure to succeed or defend or that kind of stuff. So I think it's got to be, and I use a lot of different kind of meditation practices, that kind of stuff, to kind of not necessarily quieten the noise, but be able to focus on, be able to zone in on focusing on different things. Rather than
coming back to the present and it's amazing. It's the most cliche thing possible, but being process based. Going back to like, okay, what kind of coming back to that point. What I need to. I'm trying to close the net here for a double sense, or I'm trying to accelerate, or I'm trying to keep my eyes up at contact on my serve.
Yeah.
Coming back to things that you're controlling in the present.
Yeah, exactly.
Not thinking about I'm down a break right now, or I've lost 3 weeks first round. Now this is the 4th week.
And, yeah, and I think you're always going to know what position you're in. Yeah. Like I'm always going to know how many matches I've lost previously. There's always going to be it's always going to be there, but it's kind of about focusing on the right things at the right time. I think that's pretty important for us as tennis players, and it's not easy. Like sometimes you go out there and it won't happen, but you've got to kind of accept that that's a part of it, and that's part of learning, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so if you go out and play a match, and you're just in a shit headspace and you're losing it, and it's hilarious in hindsight. Sometimes I've watched myself. I can be losing the plot, and I'm watching it unfold. And I'm so pissed off, maybe at line calls, on my level, something's happening. Again, accumulated pressure from externals. Yeah. And I can't stop the bleeding sort of thing. And it's just, and I lose it. And then, how do you go about,
in that time?
Well, no. If it's happened, it's done.
Yeah,
and
right.
The match, you lose the match because of that stuff, essentially. How do you go about essentially forgiving yourself, or because then you want to beat yourself up after, and you're trying to go, and it's harder to sleep that night, for instance. And so, what kind of techniques have you learned?
Like for instance, if it's during a match and I've recognized that this is occurring, it's a good idea to like acknowledge it, kind of be aware of those situations. Like when you're on court, I think a lot of people, like when they're in those situations, they rush through things. And like everything feels like it's going so fast. So once if you've recognized it during a match, my thing that I do is like I try and take a toilet break or something like that to just slow everything down, and then try to recognize and acknowledge what's occurring. How am I feeling? Like am I super frustrated? Once you acknowledge, then you can work out a way to then get past that. But I think as you said, like sometimes, like you're not going to catch it early enough, and it's going to go, and you're going to finish the match, and you're going to be so angry at the end of the match that you're going to be so frustrated with yourself that you feel like going into the change rooms and smashing a few rackets. That definitely
and then you realise you can't afford it.
Yeah, and then you realise that Yonex sponsor or that vocal sponsor doesn't occur too often.
Yeah, so. I'm only getting 30% of wholesale, and I'm putting it on the wall for you. Come on, boys, lift.
So I think there is a time when you do have that, and I think it's about having a nice match routine afterwards as well, because I think obviously everyone has that routine before a match, but I think it's also important to have a kind of routine after a match, win or lose. You write a couple of notes, you kind of sit with yourself, maybe a meditation to finish off a match. I know a couple of like deep breathing exercises just to literally like settle yourself down. And I know as a junior, I was very kind of aggressive, and even the last few years that's occurred. But I think it's important, like once you've finished a match, you're obviously going to be so frustrated with yourself, but I think it's about being pretty kind.
Yeah. You seem to have, from what I've seen, you seem to have turned a page in the last 6 months or a year, and just been a little bit more. Not that. So your work ethic has always been high. Yeah. I've always loved the way you've gone about things. Always been fully invested. But you seem to be a little bit more chilled about the happenings, and not, just a little bit more aware of, as you say, you probably just out of acquiring experience, going through those trials and tribulations and learning from it.
But I think that's massive, like having the experiences. And obviously I've had a few people on my team, like behind me, that have changed that as well, obviously kind of.
So you mentioned a psychologist. How long have you been working with?
I've been working with 2 different psychologists since Canberra last year, so over more than 12 months. What
took you to make that move?
I recognised that I was getting frustrated with my partner, Adam.
Oh, really?
And that I wanted to kind of control those emotions a little bit more.
Yeah.
And obviously playing with a brother, it's not easy. And after talking with a psychologist, I've recognised that playing with siblings,
it's tough, man.
It's very difficult. Like, and they've actually pointed this out. They've said like it's not easy. So the emotions that you're feeling are not necessarily, they're not validated, but they do occur. So it's important to kind of, as I said, recognize it, acknowledge it, and then kind of step past that. But yeah, like that's been a massive part of my, I guess, step forward from, like I wanted, when I came back from coaching for 2 years after COVID, I thought that I wanted to do everything right. Yeah. And I thought that psychologist was a great way to start to kind of turn every leaf over that I could.
Nice. So that's awesome. Then you know you're trying to you're trying to do the right things. You're turning every stone over. Yeah. And I find it's it's easier to take losses. Maybe not initially, but when you know that I went about things the right way. I'm doing all the right things. You know, I've been eating well, been sleeping well. I went out there, I didn't play my best. That's okay. I find that even though initially it might hurt a lot, afterwards, you don't want something to blame. You don't want to think, oh, maybe it's because of this. No, you know, or maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because I've been slacking off here, or you know.
I think me and both of us kind of do the extras a fair amount. Yeah. But tennis is hard. It's very similar to golf. Tennis is hard. It's a hard sport. Sometimes you go out there and you won't win. Yeah. But if you're doing a few of those little things, then you can succeed. Maybe not this week, maybe not next week, but it's about, tennis is a very long season. Yeah. 52 weeks almost. I see guys.
Crazy, It's crazy how like there's no offset. There's the pre-season is shrunk into like 2 weeks. Yeah. And then people are like, I was chatting with Dana Sweeney about this in the last year. So he was leading into playing. He had Aussie Open qualies coming up. Had a potential big January. You know, playing a Grand Slam qualies is huge. Had a big main draw challenger before in at Canberra.
Yeah, exactly.
And talking about when to cap his year. At the end of last year,
when to finish it up and when to start.
You need to trying to fit in having like it ended up being like 5 days off, maybe. You know, trying to fit in a time off for your off season. Yeah. But then also you're grappling with that almost anxiety
to get better
to put in the pre-season. Yeah. To build to lift weights and do fitness and train for 5 hours and put in this big pre-season so you can play good. It's crazy that you know in the sport where you're especially because we got to choose our own time to take off, right?
Yeah, like we're our own bosses, basically. Yeah,
we're our own bosses. When you're taking time off, sometimes you think someone else. If you say you've got kind of had some bad luck next week with your partner pulling out, and now you got to potentially go back to get a visa. Say you take 2 weeks off. Next week, I have a big result.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
You're thinking, I could have, I
could have had a big week, or like I could have been. I feel like you're always behind the 8 ball, literally. Yeah. Like if you're taking a week off, I feel like you're always behind the 8 ball. I'm not sure how other people view that. Yeah. But I think tennis is a sport where everyone's kind of pushing everyone to improve. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes it actually is important to take a week off and head home for a week or two, or obviously difficult for Aussies, but I think it's important to take a week off or two away from tournaments to kind of recharge. But it's also, I love tennis. I know some guys not necessarily enjoying playing that much, but they're still playing, or they're like when they're at a tournament, they're not really enjoying it. But like I really enjoy tennis. I love playing. I love the sport. Not necessarily watching, but I really love playing. And so like if I can't play, I'm like actually like I don't feel right. Yeah, it doesn't feel necessarily right. So it's kind of, and I don't know, and I didn't always used to feel like that. Didn't always used to love tennis. Like,
do you think it's grown?
Yeah, I think so. Like just the ability to kind of improve myself, to get better. I think just kind of the stepping stones. Like obviously it's not easy to kind of improve in tennis, but to kind of see results and see that, you're like, oh, actually there is improvement there, and I want to keep doing it. I know a lot of guys don't necessarily like the training, but yeah, I think that's actually a really enjoyable part of it.
Yeah, you seem to really like the training. What about, so I know COVID is a really difficult time for all people in the world, but all tennis players as well. And for our cohort of Australian tennis players, it's quite difficult because a lot of people, it was harder to travel anywhere. It wasn't as easy to play tournaments as quickly.
Sure.
And did you ever have any feelings during COVID of stopping?
No, I always had the feeling that I was going to come back to play. Yeah. I just made sure I actually worked probably harder during COVID than I ever have. Not necessarily for my tennis game, but to build up the bank balance to then make traveling and playing a lot easier in the long run. Like my biggest week I think was 68 hours coaching.
Jesus.
So like
you mentioned your clients earlier, and I was going to get to that. Saying so you're 100 and what are you 180? 190?
190 this week.
So Jase
changes regularly.
190 in doubles.
Yeah.
190th best doubles player in the world, and you and to manage finances, you have to. Thankfully, you did a big block of coaching, so you saved some money. So that was pretty good hindsight from you to realize that I can. You could see it as a shit show, or you can see it as an opportunity, and you seem to see it as an opportunity to bank cash and put it in that way. So you sacrificed a little bit of training time to delay gratification.
I did a lot of during I think it was a 2-year hiatus pretty much. We stopped in March, I think it was, and then I didn't start back until January 2 years later. So I think I did a lot of hours coaching. I was obviously playing a little bit of kind of league tennis, but not really and just building up a clientele base in Sydney and trying to really enjoying that process. I did a little bit in Hong Kong as well, just kind of enjoying.
How long were you in Hong Kong?
I was in Hong Kong for 8 months.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
How many hours were you doing a week there?
Not as much, but the pay was a little bit greater there.
What were you getting pay-wise there?
So pay-wise, it was between 70 and 90 an hour.
Yeah. And were you coaching beginners there or what?
Yeah, all different levels.
Okay.
Wasn't high performance, but I really enjoyed it. I don't necessarily have to be coaching high performance. I could be coaching someone that's never learnt tennis before, adults. Happy to coach adults and stuff, and then kind of teaching them the basics. It's pretty cool.
Would you want to coach after playing career?
Yeah, I think that's definitely an option, and I obviously through COVID I've realized that people like my coaching style, and they like the way I coach, and they like the kind of my energy, and parents definitely love the way that I put back into the kids, I guess, and kind of connect with the kids. So I think that's definitely an option moving forward.
And a lot of Sunny Coast and open a club together.
Sunny Coast, look out.
Great, mate.
But I definitely think there is an option down the road to kind of and I never viewed tennis coaching as a career. Obviously I saw Dad doing it in country New South Wales, and I thought, you know what, it's actually going to be quite tough to make a good amount of money and to build a good clientele and kind of build some, because obviously it's not necessarily about the money, it's about building good quality players, because that's what keeps you interested, I guess. And then in country New South Wales it's quite tough because they have so many sports on options that tennis is kind of the bottom of the list almost. But in big cities and things like this, I think there's a lot of access to people and players and students. I think that's massive for starting a coaching business and kind of the stepping stones to then build a successful coaching business. I think that's massive. But I think that's definitely a career that could be an option later on.
Where could you see yourself living after playing?
I mean, I could see myself starting a coaching business in Sydney for sure. There's obviously a lot of people there. It's quite well populated, and there's a lot of nice places around there.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
Beautiful spot. So I think there's definitely that option. Wouldn't write off overseas as well. I think anywhere overseas is pretty fun because you're obviously you're obviously a different kind of being in a different world almost. So.
What's the most livable country for you that you've been to? If you had to live outside of Australia.
Most livable country, probably Portugal. Yeah. Portugal's pretty nice.
Yeah, nice.
I would say Malaysia. I could live Asia wise.
So you're gonna be running a club and doing salsa dancing.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll be a salsa teacher and a tennis coach, I reckon. So that's the goal.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's interesting, man. The last few years I've been way more excited about the prospect of being a tennis coach, and as you learn. Whatever your idea of what a tennis coach is just the few tennis coaches you saw growing up when you're younger, and then as you learn how big the business world is in tennis, and remember when we were sharing this, you asked you to send me the screenshot of that sheet that the detail sheet that was going around about I think Novak even might have shared it. That's how it went around. But how many jobs are in tennis? Coaches, stringers. What else?
There was like physios and umpires and how much money they're all getting.
And then players.
And then how much the players are getting and what they're kind of
150
getting out
players or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Or how many, players in regards to in a tournament. You'll have 30 players in a tournament, but you'll have 150 bloody physios and people that are linesmen and umpires and staff that are actually working at the tournament that are getting probably just as much money as the tennis players. Pretty kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like you're just and all the staff are generally like when we're at Futures and you got like linesmen and umpires, they're getting accommodation paid. They're getting a daily rate. Like obviously we're doing what we are doing because we love it.
It'd be nice to be on a daily rate as a tennis player.
Oh man, how nice is it? Just get you and I kind of both coming into playing challenges at a similar time.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like I laugh at myself sometimes, and don't get me wrong, I want to always be grateful for whatever I get.
Sure,
but it's pretty hilarious. I sometimes find it hilarious about the things I'm grateful for.
Yeah,
and like wow, I'm like for X amount, let's say for 6 to 8 years, I've been whatever, probably 25 in Australia.
Sure.
You know, or maybe 30 in Australia. And I'm frothing on free hotel, you know, which often is shared.
Yeah.
Transport from the hotel to the
courts. Yeah.
That's huge.
Crazy. Yeah, that's big.
Tiniest things. You know, if like
breakfast of a morning.
Oh, breakfast! They're having a free breakfast.
Free brekkie.
Like in India, one or two Charlies in India, they put out lunch for the players. I went like 4 days. I didn't know, and then I realized I asked
what do you
Aki or someone. I was like, "Is that free?" He's like, "Yeah, it's free." I was like, "What?" And I was laughing because I was like, "That pumped to get free lunch." You know?
Yeah. That's what a couple of tournaments that happened to me. Or like I played the ATP event in Banyuluka.
Yeah.
And like food. Everything was free. They paid for accommodation, transport everywhere. They pick you up 2 hours away in Zagreb.
Wow.
And they drive you back down.
Yeah.
Like
right from the airport or something.
Yeah, from the major airport in Zagreb. They drive you 2 hours. You've got food, you've got dinner, you've got everything kind of you want at those events. It's kind of quite easy to perform well.
Yeah.
I think.
It's just it's a good example of how the world runs. The
world
is made easier for the richer you are, the easier it's made, the less you have to pay for. And in the tennis world, like I laugh. So when we've been around Aussie Open,
sure,
and I'm on I'm on accreditation of Danes, or you know you're with the Belgian boys, or something, and you got this.
You got like
gourmet food,
gourmet dinner,
this thing, and I'm laughing because all the dudes there all the ladies there that are playing, they're all making the lowest pay is $100K.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're getting free food, and they're getting transport, free hotel, they're getting free stringing.
Yeah.
And it's like and they deserve it because they got there. But it's kind of crazy. And then the lower you are, the more you pay for. You know?
And I think that's what the new kind of system with the Djokovic Association, I don't know what it's called, PTPA or something like this. Yeah. That they're trying to then recognize that these kind of situations are occurring.
Yeah.
I don't know how invested they are, but we haven't really seen anything.
I haven't seen any massive changes.
I haven't seen massive changes on any tour at the moment.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see over the next 10 years, and I'm 29, so hopefully we're still playing in 10 years' time to see those changes.
It'll be interesting if there are really good changes, and because you need to have a top level, you have to have all the people below them.
Sure.
You know,
you're not going to have 150 players and not have anyone else below them. There's always going to be players below them.
Yeah, you have to have players below them. You have to have the way to funnel up.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a hard one to grapple with if the system does change for the better and we're 45 or 50 and you're thinking, I'll be stoked that things got better in our sport, but you'll also be going, we'll be the old farts saying back in our day we had to do this and that, and this is how much of a grind it was, and it'll be it'll hurt a little bit, but I'd still, of course, you'd rather that happen than not happen. You'd rather the sport change for the better.
The lessons that I've learnt from playing on the Futures Tour, that helps me massively during these type of challenger events, because obviously you're finding the cheapest ways to get to different events. You find the cheapest way to find accommodation or transport or this kind of stuff. This is helping at this level because you're on a paycheck of, I don't know, if you lose first round, you're on about 350 Aussie, 400 Aussie. You can actually stretch that as far as you can.
Yeah, that's if you're that's if your main draw of 25.
Yeah, you can stretch that 400, 500 Aussie as much as you can, and that'll get you to the next week and the next week, and kind of you can keep the ball rolling. But as you said, like the difference between kind of if it does change, it's going to be tough to kind of swallow, isn't it? So but I'd like to see it change, because then that changes the business for coaches. I presume there's going to be a lot more people investing in coaching. There's going to be a lot more people investing in tennis as a general sport. So I think that's big in a sense that because I know most people know that the top 100 make a lot of money, and after that, not many people make a lot of money.
It's funny though when you come across like a friend or a random that has nothing to do with tennis. And
that's true.
Oh, tennis player, you must be rich. Tennis players. Oh, tennis players, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you think it. I remember seeing a few during Aussie Open. I remember seeing some articles of some Australian newspapers saying, should tennis players be getting paid less? Because there was, I can't remember. There was they were weighing up how long their match was that day and how much money they made.
Right.
And I was just looking at it with disgust, thinking, come on, you don't know nothing about that.
It's like the top of the iceberg picture. Where you see the iceberg picture, and then you see underneath the water, and it's like all this work. Massive iceberg underneath the water, but the tip of the iceberg is at the above. And that's what you see. Yeah. Like, obviously the top of the sport's getting a lot of money. They deserve it because they're playing the best amount of tennis, and they're attracting the most amount of fans. Yeah. Simple as that, isn't it? Yeah. So when we play these tournaments in Europe, and even at futures level or even club tennis level or whatever, there seems to be a lot more attraction to local tennis. Even though, right now we're in Italy, we have Rome Masters 1000. Sure,
but
it's only 3 hours away.
But you still got people, a big crowd showing up to watch a Charlie.
There's 200-300 people down here probably today watching Benoit.
And how many people do we have at Australian challenges? Probably like 20 odd. Yeah, and maximum. And of course, like everybody in Australia is attracted to tennis in I think tennis on January in Melbourne, Australian Open, which is great. And it's great that event's so big and so successful, you love to see it growing. You love to see it, in all the glory it is. But what do you reckon we could do to bring more interest? It's tougher in Australia because you got lack of population. Lack of population, I think, is massive. Yeah, exactly. But what do you think you could do to bring more?
I mean, you probably got to put it in major cities.
Yeah,
almost
put challenges
in major cities. Yeah. Put them in Adelaide. Put them in Perth. Put them in the center of the city. Like I remember a couple of tournaments we played in Belgium, they would put up a makeshift court in the centre of a city. Yeah. And like have obviously the off-site court, put a centre court in the middle of the city or in the middle of a mall or something like this. That's how you're going to attract people to watch tennis.
They'd actually put a proper court there?
Yeah, they put a proper court on the side of a beach where everyone was going to the beach during the summer.
Wow.
And like people would be walking past, they'd have drinks watching, people would be like, you'd have a bar at the tennis courts and people would be coming in, taking some drinks at the bar and then coming up and watching some tennis. Yeah. Like that's how I think that. And I haven't seen it done. Like, obviously, you see it done in a lot of the French challenges. Yeah. I don't know whether you haven't played too many, but they make a centre court separate to where the main centre is, and they put it in literally the centre of the city, and they have a couple of thousand people come and watch. So I think that's probably. I mean, that's obviously going to be an expensive thing, but I think obviously, if you want to build. The spectators and build the sport a little bit more, I think that's probably a possibility. Yeah. But I also think just even when we're playing in country towns and whatnot, just advertising. A little bit of advertising of some sort as well. Even like you can have a Charlie there and you can have nothing on the radio, you can have no posters around town, you can have no just the incentive seems to be lacking a little bit because it's a nice feeling for a tournament. And as you say, in Europe, so often the irony is when you combine a sport with alcohol and people can knock off work and come and have a drink. And
socialise. When we're playing at Split, you have the bar right there. You know, it can socialise. Look at Australian. You go to a rugby club. You got epic. People go there for a drink after work on a Friday, watch the footy. Yeah,
I think that's big, and I think obviously massive with advertisement. I think Canberra this year was the first time they've done advertising for their challenger. Yeah. And they had a fair amount of people come and actually watch, and they had a good atmosphere there. So I think obviously advertising in the community, I know that a lot of the European towns do it. You see posters up on the wall, and you see kind of the advertisement boards in the city of like players and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's obviously a big thing. And Canberra this year was the first time they were charging ticket prices.
True. How much were they charging?
Maybe $5.
Yeah.
And that's not big. Maybe you give someone a free drink or something like that.
Yeah.
Charge them $5, give them a free drink or something like
Yeah.
that. That'll bring people around, and then they'll buy 2 drinks. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty kind of cool. How much does a drink cost? $1?
Yeah.
So I think that could be something that the Australian community or the Australian kind of tennis events do. But I also don't think they're getting any benefit out of it. Like, because Tennis Australia is providing a lot of the money, correct?
Yeah.
So there's no real benefit to the clubs to have more people around.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, if there's 500 people at a tennis club, that's a lot of work for people.
Yeah.
So I think clubs have got to understand that. What do they want to get out of having people around? If they want to have people around and they want to create a good atmosphere for a tournament for the players, then...
Well, if you're selling food and drink, then if you have 500 people there...
Then there's a benefit, exactly.
Benefit and everyone wins. And when you're advertising not only to the public, but you've got just club members that, there's a tournament on.
Yeah.
You know, even if you have like a platinum AMT, it's there's a tournament on.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
you know, let's get around and watch it. And or if they could like somehow... so when I played that Warrnambool AMT, I was just blown away at how many people they had. It was the most festive tennis event I've ever come across with and it was just all, court, as I think I might have said this to you in the past, but C grade ladies doubles court 26. You had like 15 to 20 people at the back watching, and that was the same every time. Yeah. And I was Addo and I were chilling there playing, and we thought, and this is during our future swing. Sure. And we thought, how cool would it be if they
had an event there?
If they had a future
during that event.
Yeah,
actually, that'd be something.
And then have that event on the weekend, and that's when quarters or semis, finals is on. Yeah. You know, if you combine like a local event with it, or you can, you have you have hot shots, so you have some major group event. I guess you need courts and whatnot then.
But that's the thing. Like, can the town accommodate for that many people in the town? True. The big cities can. Yeah. And so why not do it in a Sydney or a Melbourne or a Brisbane or those big centers and create a tennis community event every week in different cities. Yeah. Doesn't hurt.
It seems like it. So you look at the countries that are succeeding right now. How many players Italy and different European countries have got, and they've got so many tournaments on, and for such a rich tennis nation, it seems. And especially for us, how much we struggle geographically and therefore financially to get around and play enough tournaments coming from Australia. It'd be unbelievable for growth for Australian tennis to have more futures and challenges on. Right, 10,
15 challenges would be ideal, I think, for the Aussies. It obviously attracts more players to the country, but I think it just gives more opportunities for players in Oz.
Yeah, and if other players come, that's good as well. It's more competition.
Yeah, more competition. You're improving. I think Italy's done it well. They've just put as many tournaments as they can on. Yeah. Not necessarily brilliant tournaments, but they've put them on and they've got them running and we're playing and there's points on offer. There's money on offer. Yeah. Why not make that happen? I think there's plenty of options in Australia for that to occur.
Yeah. So. All right, Jase. I've got a few things written down here. Just I'm absolutely loving chatting with you, but let me hit you with the question. It's funny. Just like yesterday, we've covered a fair bit of this. Do you think? Okay, it's an interesting one. I don't mean to hit the heart muscle here, but has being a tennis player as a young adult made it harder for you to have a relationship, a romantic relationship? And do you think, you think, and if so, do you ever question whether it's worth it for some of the normalities that you may be missing out on? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a chat with Scott Ray about this in Burnie Challenger, actually. Yeah. We had a good sit down and kind of conversation about how tennis kind of, it's a bit of a merry-go-round or what do they call it? What is it?
roundabout or what?
No, like the one where you're on the
Hamster wheel.
Hamster wheel, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hamster wheel and kind of spits you out, and you've got nothing else to live for.
Yeah.
You kind of keep chasing
Yeah.
the rabbit. But I think relationships are difficult to maintain. You're obviously traveling full year round, and obviously at our level, you can't have someone following you around.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Because you can't afford to have.
you can't afford
Yeah.
You would love to have some supportive partner with you by your side the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's obviously not affordable, and we're not on that kind of salary at the moment. So I think, it does take away from the opportunities. But I think there's always, like, what age are we? We're 29. There's always opportunities for us to have a life after tennis. And I had a chat with my brother. I said that, like, at the moment, I think every week we have something different, something to look forward to every single week. We're going to a different city, we're going to a different town, we're meeting different people, we're meeting different families. A lot of people don't have those opportunities. A lot of people have got that daily job grind from 25 to 60.
Yeah.
And
I try and remind myself that every time I'm feeling down about it, and you're thinking like, oh my God, I have to pack up and move again. Now I've got to hustle. What's the train situation here from here to Rome?
and then you're missing a train or something like this.
Oh, and you got to fly here and you got to go somewhere else, and it's a hustle. You think, well, it's not mundane, and I'm not waking up thinking like, here we go.
How am I going to drive again this week? So I think, there's obviously you are missing out on those kind of. If you're in a 9-to-5 job, you're missing out on the interactions you can have with a loved one or something like this, and you don't have the opportunity to go home to see family all the time. But I think we're only young once, I guess. Yeah. So I think taking the opportunity to travel and that's what I've based a lot of my choices on. Yeah. I only have an opportunity to do and travel this once, and okay, if I'm doing it alone, then I'm going to do it. If I'm alone, am I going to do it right? Probably. Yeah. If I have someone that I have to report back to or go back to, then am I going to do it right? Probably not. Yeah, it's hard, because I find myself sometimes craving that companionship in a sense, but then I think, well, logically, not that I'm that much of a logical person, a bit more emotional, but logically, it's just a lot easier being solo. I don't have that pull to get home. You can be you're nomadic. You can go where you need to go for your tennis. Yeah, I think, and that's kind of what I've done and what I've chosen to do, because I think, as I said, like, there's always an option to build a family or have a relationship with somebody, and you're always going to have that option in the future. Whether some kind of maybe the boat's passed for some people, but I think there's always that option in the future. Yeah, it's not passed, not even for you, Scotty Ray. Scotty Ray. There's someone for you. There's what do they say? There's a lid for every pot. There is a lid for every pot, especially. Coley can find a miss so we can. I'm with you there. And okay, so another thing. So you often hear the term making it. Right? Oh, making it. I want to make it. When I make it, what to you? What would making it mean, or is there such a thing as making it for you? I've got a picture of Callum this week. Someone asking for autograph from Cal. I've been listening to a song this week by a band called Our City, and it says, "Work until your signature becomes an autograph." Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like. You think so, like you're leading to me making it. Yeah. I guess obviously this is on a small degree, but you see like the top guys, they're all they're walking down a pathway. Ebden's like signing every ball on the way past. You're winning a challenger, everyone, and it's kind of asking, "Oh, can we get a photo? Can we get a picture? Can we get your autograph?" It's kind of cool. Like, have we essentially made it? And I don't think even on my professional profile, it doesn't say I've turned professional. Really? And I'm 190 in the world, so it's pretty kind of crazy. Like, that's hilarious, eh? Yeah, that's the question. Do I ever feel like I've made it? I still don't feel like I've made it. Yeah. What would justify me making it? Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, I don't know whether a ranking basis would tick that off. I think it's whether I can make a living from the sport. I think that's maybe the making it like the making it tag. I think kind of obviously most professions or most when you work you can make a living from it. So I think that's important for after tennis as well. So I think yes, if I've made it, have I made it currently? I would say that there is a degree that if I was a kid and I said that I was 190 in the world, have I made it? Yes, that kid would say, yeah, you've made it for sure. And then as you get to that point, you're like, oh, you know what? That maybe the kind of the goalposts have changed a little bit in regards to that sense. But I definitely feel like if I was to ask my 12-year-old self, if you were 190 in the world, would you have made it as a professional tennis player? I would say yes. That is definitely reached.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like it would be consolidating to that feeling if you were able to finish with some money behind you from your tennis career?
Yeah, I think that's kind of how I would view it. Exactly right. So, and do I think people that are 200 in your profession be making money? Probably.
Yeah.
And that's another topic, I guess, that probably can't be touched on today. But I think once you finish a sport or a profession of 15 years, I guess you'd hope for some money in the bank account to be able to go on from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's nothing stopping us from getting to that point.
Yeah.
But can the system change? Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And it's a funny thing. Yeah, you think that making it, and there's an element of making it. I suppose we're fortunate enough that we're not in a scenario where making it for us financially would mean also helping our parents out of their financial turmoil because they've got a good life and they're doing their thing.
I think we are very lucky in that sense.
We're in a really good scenario. It's so funny how I remember my old coach, Clint Fife, when I was growing up, used to say to me, the reason there's no good tennis players from Sunny Coast and the reason there's not as many good tennis players from Australia is because the quality of life is so good.
It is good,
you know. And so we're in such a fortunate position that we can go for sure, have a success, have a career that's good enough financially to have a family and and buy a house potentially if we work smart and hard as a tennis coach. Or you could be a garbage collector and you can still have the potential to do that. You know?
I mean, we've always got that option to go back to once we have finished playing. And I think that comes back to the question of, that life kind of question. There's always the option to go back to, always an option to go back to working full time. Yeah. Like we always have that to rest on. So I think that, yes, we're lucky enough to not have to rely on tennis to make our income because there's obviously avenues down in the future that we can go down to make money. And that's not obviously why we're doing it. Because if we were doing it for money, I don't think we'd probably choose tennis.
It's funny. Sometimes I think, so I'm 29 now. Say I carried on playing. Say I stopped playing at 32, and I got to 160, and then in doubles, let's say doubles, or let's say you go to 300. You're stopping with no money, and then I thought, and then if you met somebody that's been working full time for 10 years, maybe they've bought a house or something. And you meet them and you're having this, and you hit it off, and you have an awesome.
So a sugar mama,
huh? So
a sugar mama is what you're looking for.
How would that sugar mama perceive me?
Type of person you are, isn't it?
No, but I'm saying if it wasn't a sugar mama would be nice. I know you're into that, but so if there's any sugar mamas out there, we've got two great applicants.
Two great looking bodies, two great looking Aussies.
Yeah, we've got big hearts and no money. But say you meet a chick that's not a sugar mama but your age,
sure,
and she's established herself. Maybe she's bought a house or something. And it's I've noticed this thought pop into my head about would I be okay with you going, okay, well, I've invested myself into this for 10 years.
Sure.
I've actually been what I would consider
boarding,
150 in the world or something.
But nothing to go
doubles or 300 or 400 in singles or whatever it is out of everything in the world. Yeah, and you got nothing to show. Yeah. But then I think, okay, well, if that chick was going to judge me just based off my lack of digits in the bank, long term probably wouldn't want her anyway. But
But the thing about that, what we're doing on the tour is we're working on ourselves a lot.
Yeah,
We're traveling a lot. We're meeting a lot of people. We understand how to gauge business. I think that's massive on the tour, and you see a lot of people come from professional background, whatever they do, and go into business, and they're very motivated, and kind of that's what you're built over the. You don't have anything financially to show for it, but you've built a good background. You've built a good knowledge about how you interact in performance situations. Yeah. We go straight into performance situations in regards to business. You know how to perform. So I think that what a business is looking for, that's what a business or a partner or someone is looking for in those situations. So I don't think that that's kind of. Yes, you don't have anything to show for it financially, but there's definitely...
Yeah, you've acquired the tools that you can implement into whatever you...
Is what we keep telling ourselves anyway, yeah.
Well, look, you got a six-pack.
And can do anything. I can travel anywhere for 50 euros.
Yeah, it's funny how... So that's one of the most epic thing about tennis is the fact that you learn how to take care of yourself a lot, and then like physically, and then also how much it pushes you to grow spiritually. As we spoke about at the start of this conversation. Okay, so we deal with we get fired from our job every week. Every week we get rejected.
And then when we go talk to a girl at the bar, we also get rejected every week. So we're getting rejected multiple times a week.
But I feel like copying that rejection with a tennis match that loss. For one person or two people in a doubles tournament. Yeah. It's so character building, and I look at the kind of person you are since I've met you, and you've become so much more spiritual. Almost forced to be introspective and to be figuring out what's going on, and your sense that your self-esteem has to come. You got to learn to esteem to come from other places, or whatever external success that you're striving for in the world. If you're not a tennis player, but I feel like that's such a benefit that we've received. Yeah, if you take it, that's the good thing about staying in the sport for as long as we have.
I think there's obviously times when you do want to get out, and that's always a part of different jobs that you do. You want to get out, but I think that skills, and I think like that's important. Like I had a post on Instagram a few months ago after I played in Japan. I was quite kind of the way the year ended, but I looked back and I had a 2-week break after that, and then I wrote a post about kind of losing and how I think it was 90th of every tournament lose. So like as I said, like we're all 93% of that tournament is a loser in that week. I mean, 7% of people in. Yeah. Which is kind of, that's tough to deal with, but I think like when people like look at job prospects and that kind of thing, you're constantly getting rejected, then that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Essentially. So that's kind of how I've especially viewed it. I think some people don't take it that way, and that's why some people don't. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think that's kind of a big thing of tennis, and that's how tennis happens. That's losing and still learning is important.
It's massive, man. Massive, yeah. And thankfully we've done a lot of it.
We've done a lot of losing, and we've done a lot of learning.
No, it's great. Massive. I feel so like I've learned so much more about myself, so much more. And same as you, I feel more confident to take those tools into whatever life brings. Sure. Hopefully not in the too near future. Let's power on and man, I can slams one day.
That'd be nice.
On the same side of the net. If we get one of us needs to get a rocket. Then we can play together.
1 foot to see if we can get a rocket. I think.
Yeah, but dude. Thanks so much for sitting down and chatting with me. It was an epic chat, and you're absolute ledge. I'm always so hard in your tennis, and he's a good mate.
No, thanks, Carl. I really appreciate kind of what you're doing for Australian tennis, in regards to kind of the level and trying to increase kind of the lower levels and the. It's great what you're doing, and this kind of podcast is really important for increasing the awareness about on tour and how we can kind of make
it a little bit easier to
the transition from juniors to seniors. But I appreciate what you're doing in regards to that sense. So nice, mate.
Thank you,
you.
brother.
Cheers, mate. Mate.
That's it.
Oh, I'm happy to see it still filming. No fuck ups. That's good. That's good.
You.